Welcome to the For Listeners program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear. On the mics with me this week is the Z-Man. What's up, Z?
I want the whole world. I want to lock it all up in my pocket. It's my bar of chocolate. Give it to me now.
Wow. You reached right in there for the bass. I like that.
Don't care how I want it now.
I want you to stop. On the other mic is the mighty Gantor. What is up, Gantor?
When's it going to be spring?
I don't know. As we're sitting here recording right now, we're about to get pounded again with another foot.
Just like your mom.
Oh, Jesus.
That was too easy.
This week, something must be done about affluenza. Affluenza was a term coined in 2001 by the author John D. Groff in the anti-consumerist book called Affluenza, the All-Consuming Epidemic. It defined affluenza as a, quote, painful, contagious, socially transmitted condition of overload, debt, anxiety, and waste resulting from the dogged pursuit of more.
Well, that's quite different from the affliction that you have when you've never been denied anything in your whole life, right?
Right. So it's recently, this affluenza term now has been turned around into that context, where in December of 2013, there was a teenager in Texas by the name of Ethan Couch, who was involved in a drunk driving incident. He was driving his father's Ford 350 truck. He was speeding. He was doing 70 in a 40. Had a blood alcohol content of 0.24, which was 3 times the legal limit for an adult in Texas. He also had traces of Valium in his system, and he hit 4 people and killed them all. Right? Under any other circumstances, that's vehicular manslaughter. That is jail time. That is say goodbye to your family for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Texas, I'm surprised they didn't execute him on the side of the road.
Right. So his lawyer started with the affluenza defense.
Is this actually now a thing? Like, this is going to be like
The new insanity?
Yeah. So basically that's what happened, right? So this guy, I mean, at the time of the accident, he was 16 years old, and his psychologist argued that he was a product of affluenza and was unable to link his bad behavior with consequences because his parents gave him everything.
That sounds like a terrible extension of ignorance of the law is no excuse, right?
Yeah, that's
in the
it.
sense that
Right.
if you don't know it, like, you can get in trouble because you legitimately don't know the law, but you don't get in trouble because you've had an awesome, fantastic, easy life. I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It makes less sense than what was the Wookiee defense?
The Chewbacca defense.
Yeah, that's it.
Was Johnny Cochran who was pretending to use the Chewbacca defense. Yep. This
is Chewbacca. Now think about that for 1 minute. That does not make sense. Why am I talking about Chewbacca when a man's life is on the line? Why? I tell you why. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. If Chewbacca does not make sense, you must acquit.
Yeah, but in real life, they had, who did the prosecution have OJ try the glove on? And OJ apparently couldn't get the glove to fit. You know, if the glove
doesn't fit, you must acquit. Yeah.
That's terrible all around. That
stupid.
psychologist, the lawyers, the jury, the judge, everybody.
I mean, you gotta be somewhat upset with the judge that he allowed that shit. I mean, how do you argue that this guy couldn't determine right from wrong because his parents gave him everything? I mean, right. I would be more inclined to lock that idiot away. How is that a reasonable defense for anything?
It's not. In no way, shape, or form. It's just, more evidence of terrible legal decisions in the South.
What do you think, Z-Man?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's one of those things that's like, I feel like an old man saying it, but like, kid needs is just a fucking swift kick in the mouth.
It's one of those
things,
right?
A swift kick in the mouth.
You never heard that?
Not a kick in the mouth. I've heard kick in the pants or kick in the butt.
All right, maybe he needs one of those too.
He needs a good old-fashioned ass whooping.
He needs to fucking be out on his own and like learn like what real world looks like.
I mean, the idea that he was so sheltered that he couldn't figure out what the story was I mean, that's part of it, right? You gotta deal with pain. You gotta learn a lesson. No.
Yeah, you gotta reap the repercussions
That's
of your
life.
actions.
Seriously. It's like when I learned life wasn't a video game when I made a wrong turn on the interstate and I ended up taking a 5-hour detour. I got about 2 hours in and I'm like, all right, let's turn the game off. It's time to leave.
Where's the reset button?
Yeah, where's reset,
Reset.
undo? This game's not fun anymore.
Where-
Nope, there's none of that.
Where's the thing from Mario Kart when you go off the edge, it picks you up and brings you right back to the track where you're supposed to be?
You don't, well, most people don't get that in real life except for this asshole.
I mean, it's not like your parents are the only source of things you learn in life about consequences, right? You go to school.
It's probably paid the teachers off so you didn't have to do shit.
Well, I guess that's probably it, right? I mean, if you've had every door open for you, if you've had every obstacle taken out of your way, I can understand it. But there's other things in life that teach you consequences.
This gives me a good idea for a game show, though. You take all these people who had, all those obstacles eliminated for them or turned into tiny little anthills that they had,
Right, yeah, you just mow over.
and put them in just terribly, terribly difficult and horrendous situations. And then just laugh at them.
Just toss them in a terradrome.
Yeah.
First thing, tie your shoes. No, I don't know how.
Yeah, strand them in the middle of Russia, with 50 rubles or whatever. And good luck.
I don't even think you need to go nearly that far. I would just put them in a supermarket and say, find a can of beans.
Well, no, see, I would want it to hurt and to be painful.
But wouldn't you want to start small? Wouldn't you want to
No.
start with something basic?
No.
No, you
I
would just
prefer
toss
to
them
weed
straight to
them
the
out.
wolves? Dude, you're a serious bastard.
You've seen MXC, right?
Yeah.
You know how they start with a big field of, 100, 200 contestants, and they slowly get, winnowed down to one or two that make it to the end. Maybe.
Yeah, and then there's some
That's what I would
insane
go for.
insane thing at the end that they have to do.
Yeah, so the show would be highlights of all these affluenza idiots just failing in miserable, painful ways, and then we would laugh at them and feel better.
I would watch that.
I would start with this idiot.
Yeah.
Because here's what happened to this guy, okay?
What the sentencing is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this. So he's got, 4 years of probation?
Probation.
At a $450,000 a year school?
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry, wait, what?
He's,
How much a year?
$450,000 a year.
That gives me an idea for a new business.
Start fuckhole schools?
Fuckhole school for rich affluenza kids.
What? So, I mean, this facility is like a goddamn country club. It's got horse riding, massage, a pool. It's on 6 acres of land.
I'm pretty sure this is not the solution. This is the cause.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't this emphasize the point that you can get away with, literally get away with murder?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anybody could look at that and not come to that conclusion.
I mean, how is that a punishment? How is that?
No, I think I would like to be affluenza so that I can also go to this country club school.
Yeah.
And this is a reward. This is vacation.
See, what would you do? Like, what would you do if that happened to your family and then the perp got that?
There's nothing I could do.
You've read Punisher comic books, I'm sure. I'm sure you've seen the various movies and remakes.
Sure, but I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go vigilante?
Yeah, my point is, what is there left for your life other than to go vigilante and exact revenge on every terrible person in the world and wear a skull on your chest?
I think I would have to find another creative outlet for my anger and frustration. My problem with this is that it's not an isolated case. The sense of entitlement. My life is better than yours. I have more than you do. I'm capable of more than you are. But it's that kind of mentality that breeds this kind of behavior. The best example of this lately has been Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, we've talked about this guy before. It's worth talking about again, only because of the sense of entitlement. This guy went from just being douchey.
He's a Miley wannabe.
Oh, he's even gone past her. Like Miley is now offering him advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
that's pretty sad. He's gonna get his. You can see that pendulum swinging.
But
he's gonna get hammered hard if he doesn't knock it off.
No, he's not.
Oh, yes, he is.
Who's he going to get hit from?
Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Who's going to get him?
He's going to get deported.
He's not going to get deported.
That's certainly it's been mentioned.
All right, it's been mentioned.
It's been mentioned, but it's not real.
I'm telling you, if he keeps doing this stuff, it's going to happen.
So,
The guy's
so
gonna have to murder somebody and get a DUI and get deported.
well, he got the DUI.
Isn't he?
Yeah,
Did,
but
he get
that's
did it actually
falling
stick?
apart.
Yeah, I don't think it's stuck.
There's been a string of things now in the news, right? There was the egging, of the neighbor's house.
That was his mistake. He egged a rich person's house.
There you go.
His fucking neighbor. How do you get away with egging your neighbor's house?
Well, he didn't. They served a search warrant on his house. And then he got his plane got searched. I don't know. I'm telling you, he's going to make another mistake, and then he's going to be done. Mark my words.
Never in the history of the U.S. have we ever deported someone for
So,
on something.
It's unprecedented, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. So Justin Bieber is a Canadian citizen, right? And he is allowed to live here in the States because he has what's called an O1 work permit.
Look at you.
What it means is it's something that immigration will give you if you have, quote, extraordinary abilities. A lot of athletes and entertainers get O1 status, right? But here's the thing. Under the immigration laws, if you are convicted of a crime of moral turpitude, immigration can deem that person inadmissible for work status in the U.S. Now here's the fun part. Moral turpitude includes crimes involving, quote, malicious destruction of property, which I would think egging someone's house with malicious intent qualifies.
As opposed to egging someone's house without malicious intent.
Why, maybe you're just chucking one over your shoulder. I don't know.
I feel like we could egg Spears' house without malicious intent.
What do you mean?
It'd be good-natured fun.
Good-natured? No, it's not. You see, I agree with you.
Zeth and I would do it for the show.
You would do it for the show, so it would be for entertainment purposes.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely.
That's
It's
great.
no malicious intent. It's
entertaining.
Good-natured ribbing.
That's great. That's one way of stretching it. Somehow, I don't think Justin Bieber was looking in that direction. I think he was actually quoted as saying at one point, "Fuck you, I got another one for you."
He's probably pretty drunk at the time.
I'm sure.
I mean,
Isn't he also underage?
He is.
Yep.
He's 19, and he got arrested in Miami. This is my favorite. I love this story.
Wait, hold on. How is it that you even can have a car if you've gotten DUI when you're underage?
Somebody rented the car for him, obviously, right? He's got an entourage, right? So somebody rented the car for him. It was a Lamborghini, right?
Was, yep.
Was it a Lamborghini? So it was a Lamborghini, and he was racing against a Ferrari in a residential area of Miami Beach, and they were basically, the two cars were, for all intents and purposes, drag racing down this strip. The best part about it was he had other people from his entourage in like Escalades or whatever else block off intersections so that they could race down this street.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, if you're going to be irresponsible, you might as well be responsible about it.
You're right.
I'm telling you, they're looking to get him. They're going to get him on something.
Why wouldn't they deport fucking Celine Dion for crimes against humanity?
There actually is a petition on We the People, the White House website. Deport Justin Bieber and revoke his green card. We the people of the United States feel that we are being wrongly represented in the world of pop culture. We would like to see the dangerous, reckless, destructive, and drug-abusing Justin Bieber deported and have his green card revoked. He is not only threatening the safety of our people, but he is also a terrible influence on our nation's youth. We the people would like to remove Justin Bieber from our society. Harumph! 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 Harumph!
That's not a little overdramatic at all.
Harumph! Harumph! 256,168 people have signed this petition. Here's what I find hilarious about this, right? 250 some odd thousand people signed that petition, and there are literally millions of people who love him and would want nothing else than to see him continue to be in the United States, sing stupid music, and do whatever it is he's doing. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to change.
Nope.
I mean, it's the whole thing. It's the whole thing leading back to what happened to this other dipshit. It's only perpetuating his behavior because there will never be, even if he got deported, there wouldn't be consequences enough.
Yeah, there would. Have you been to Canada outside of Montreal?
Have I been to Canada outside of Montreal? No, I haven't.
Well, there you go.
What the hell does that prove?
What the hell does that mean?
I mean, there would be consequences. It's not that fun of a country.
He can still record music, right?
So?
He can still
He
make
can't
videos.
drive Lamborghinis in Miami.
So whatever. Instead of Miami, he'll go to the Caribbean. He'll just fly over the United States. What's the difference? He'll just go to Europe and terrorize them. It's not.
Yeah, sure, fine.
Nothing changes with this guy. There will be no consequences. There will be nothing that teaches Justin Bieber a lesson and gets him to change his behavior.
Why would he change his behavior?
Why should he change his
Right.
behavior?
I wouldn't.
The interesting case study for Justin Bieber would be Lindsay Lohan. Because Lindsay Lohan was one of those kind of bright shooting star, right?
It wasn't that, no. She was a shooting star, but instead of going up, it was going straight down into the ground.
But it started well for her. She was one of those Disney girl type of deals.
She was?
Yeah, well, she was
She was Disney.
She was in The Parent Trap, right? That was her first movie, right? It was a remake of The Parent Trap.
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
I'm telling you, in 1998, she was in The Parent Trap. It was a Disney movie, and then the next one she did was a few years later. She did Freaky Friday.
That's a terrible movie.
Well, nonetheless, right? But she was on the trail. She was the cute Disney girl. Was on the way up. Did Mean Girls,
Great movie.
and like she was huge, right? And everyone was talking about what she was going to be able to do with her career, and then too long to rehash all of her problems, right? In and out of jail, in and out of rehab. Now she's basically persona non grata, right? So if there's a cautionary tale for Justin Bieber, it's Lindsay Lohan, because she can't get a job to save her life now at this point. She's at the bottom now. I mean, that's the cautionary tale. So if you're hoping anything for Justin Bieber, you're hoping that someone grabs him by his nutsack and says, "Dude."
I still think Lindsay Lohan's hot.
Oh, I think she's a little too busted now.
Yeah, probably.
I think she's a little too.
She's done for, I think, yeah.
She's done. She's had too much bad plastic surgery, too much drugs.
She's had plastic surgery?
Oh, God, yeah, dude. Bad plastic surgery.
I thought it was just drugs.
Bad plastic surgery at that. So what must be done about this? I mean, do we literally have to go around just drop kicking fucking rich bitches?
I would love to see that.
Yeah, me drop kicking somebody with my 2-inch vertical leap.
Funniest thing in the world.
I wouldn't get more than 2 inches off the ground.
It's just gonna come to a head, just like all the the whole 1% stuff. You concentrate all that money in a select group of people while the majority are suffering, and punish whole classes of people and let the 1% get off scot-free. What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think was it French independence shit was crazy? Gonna have nothing on what goes down here. Chopping people's heads off in squares and everything, guillotines, all that stuff.
Turns into Les Miserables.
It's gonna be worse.
Can you hear the people singing the songs of Angry Men?
What are you talking about?
That's Les Mis, dude.
Yeah, I don't
seen that.
No.
I don't even know that, yeah.
I bet you got a Les Mis shirt, don't you?
No.
I bet you had a Les Mis shirt.
No.
Yeah.
No. So what did we learn? What did we learn about Affluenza? What did we learn? Z-Man.
Swift kick in the ass.
Swift kick in the mouth.
Yeah.
Kick in the mouth.
Ganthor.
That Spear's a big giant pussy and doesn't love his family enough to avenge them.
I will avenge them, Ganthor. I'll start drop kicking people.
All right.
With my 2-inch vertical leap. What did I learn? I learned that I learned a number of things. I learned that Justin Bieber should be deported. The likelihood is not high, but he should be deported. I learned that Lindsay Lohan is a cautionary tale for Justin Bieber, so be wary there, Bieber. And I learned that Affluenza as a defense is bullshit. You have a responsibility as a parent to your child to teach them boundaries. You have a responsibility. Failing that, you just have to make sure that those other opportunities to learn consequences are available to them. So if you think that the Biebs should be wary of La Lohan, why don't you go ahead and let us know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. You can check out the show on the Stitcher Radio or on the iTunes. Just search for 4 Listeners. It will pop right on up. We thank you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody.
Puzzle for you. Who do you blame when your kid is a rat? Pampered and spoiled like a Siamese cat. Blaming the kid is a lion of shame. You know exactly who's to blame.